There are some moments in life that you don't forget. They might not look dramatic to someone else, but for you, they change the course of your story completely. For me, that moment came on what seemed like just another ordinary morning. I had no idea when I woke up that day that my life was about to change in the most unexpected and wonderful way. That was the morning I met Monkey, my little orange tabby boy. Before we dive into Monkey's story, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button so you'll always be the first to know when we share a new true story about animal rescues. Your support helps us continue shining a light on the difficult situations so many animals face and gives us the chance to tell their stories with the love and dignity they deserve. By following along, you're not just watching, you're helping create awareness and hopefully inspiring more kindness toward animals everywhere. And who knows? Maybe after today's story, you'll feel moved to give your own pet an extra tight hug. Like most people, I already had a morning routine. Not one I set for myself, but one that was set by a cat. Her name was CowCow, a community cat who had decided that my doorstep was part of her world. Every morning, like clockwork, I'd wake up, open my main door, and there she'd be, waiting. Sometimes sitting patiently, like a queen waiting for her loyal servant, which I adore being for any cat. Sometimes pacing back and forth, her tail swishing with anticipation. And always, she greeted me with her sweet meows. It was her way of saying, "Good morning. Where's breakfast?" I'd rub her chin, scratch her head, and she would lean into my touch with the deepest sense of trust. Then she'd dive into the kibbles I set out for her, eat, sip some water, and just like that, she'd be off. On with her day, roaming the estate, keeping her cat kingdom in order with the world as her litter tray. That was CowCow's routine, and mine. Our very small but very special morning ritual. But that morning was different. After finishing her breakfast, CowCow didn't leave. She stayed. She paced outside my flat, walking back and forth, restless and unsettled. I thought, maybe she just wants more attention today. But she wasn't sitting still. She wasn't in the mood for extra chin scratches, extra treats, or company. It was almost as if she was trying to tell me something. Now, outside my flat wasn't the neatest space. I lived with hoarders, so the corridor was full of old boxes, unused furniture, random items stacked around, you name it. Because of that clutter, I didn't notice it at first, but then I saw CowCow rubbing her chin and sides against a particular box. Over and over, marking it, pacing around it, constantly returning to it. And that's when I heard it. A faint, tiny meow. At first, I thought my mind was playing tricks on me. I thought the tiny meow came from CowCow. But then I heard it again. And again. Persistent. Something inside me said, check the box. There's something in there that CowCow's trying to tell you about. So I crouched down, heart beating a little faster, and peered into the box. And there he was. A tiny ginger kitten, my monkey. He couldn't have been more than 3, maybe 4 weeks old. Both eyes wide open, trying to make sense of the situation he'd just been dropped into. His steps were strong but clumsy, unsteady, the way only a kitten's can be. The box had been prepared with care, lined with newspaper and cloth to keep its occupant comfortable, fed and safe. A small bowl of water, a few packets of Whisker's wet food left beside him. Whoever had left him there didn't just abandon him or leave him for dead. They'd placed him with intention. with hope, and they placed him at my door. The emotions hit me all at once. First, oh, what a beautiful little creature. His fur was a warm orange, soft and untidy, and his tiny meows pierced right through me. Then, realization. He wasn't lost. He had been left here. And strangely, I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel upset at the person who left him. Instead, I felt this quiet certainty. Whoever they were, they cared. They wanted him to be safe. And they trusted that my family, known in the neighborhood for loving cats, would be able to give him that love and safety that every living being deserves. To this day, I still wonder who it was, who made that choice. But the truth is, it doesn't matter. Because what mattered was that Monkey was meant to be with us. Without a second thought, I scooped him up and brought him inside. "Mom! Dad! Sis! Come look at this!" I shouted. My family came rushing over, and the shock on their faces was priceless. There, in my hands, was a tiny orange kitten, wide-eyed and fragile. The room filled with that mix of panic and joy that only a surprise kitten can bring. And then, of course, came the words I knew were coming from my mom. "No." She said it firmly. She said it quickly, the way moms do when they want to make something very clear. We all knew what she meant. She liked cats, sure, but she didn't want the added work of caring for one. Like life wasn't difficult enough as is. Cats are messy. They shed fur. They knock things over. They need feeding, litter boxes, vet visits. She didn't want all of that responsibility. But the truth? The second monkey looked up at us with those big eyes we all knew. He wasn't going anywhere. He had found his home. And I feel my mom knew this was something she would struggle to fight us on. I still remember the first time he curled up in my palm. He was so small, so delicate, his heart beat fast against my skin. We fussed over him that whole morning, giving him food, water, cuddles. We laughed at the way he stumbled as he tried to explore. We melted at his little mews and attempted little pounce sneak attacks. And while Mom tried to hold her ground, I could see the softening in her eyes, because Monkey had already started doing what cats do best, weaving himself into our hearts, one paw at a time. I suspect you've been wondering how Monkey got his name. Honestly, we weren't very creative with this. We named him exactly how he projected himself. A mischievous little furry orange animal with a long tail that might as well have been a prehensile tail, swinging from all locations of the house, no matter how high up a wall or how deep within the crevices of boxes that cluttered the home. That's where you'd find him. If there was any naughtiness that could be done in the house, you best believe he was up to it. Now here's the thing, this wasn't your typical rescue story. Monkey wasn't found abandoned in a drain. He wasn't pulled out of danger or injured or starving. His rescue didn't make the news. But for me, it was life-changing. Because that moment, that tiny box outside my flat was the beginning of something bigger. It was the moment that started my journey as a pet owner in my adult life. It was the moment I realized that sometimes the universe places a life in your hands and you have a choice to turn away or to step up. And by stepping up for Monkey, I unknowingly stepped into a path I'm still on today, rescuing and helping animals. Giving them a chance, learning from them, loving them. When I think back on it now, I often wonder, what if CowCow hadn't been there that morning? What if I hadn't listened to her cues, hadn't checked that box? What would have happened to that little kitten? But she was there, she was persistent, and I did listen, and because of that, Monkey's story intertwined with mine. That's the thing about rescues. They don't just save the animal. They change you too. Monkey wasn't just a kitten who needed a home. He was a teacher. He taught me responsibility, patience, and what it truly means to care for another living being. He taught me about trust, how fragile it is, how easily it can be broken, and how beautiful it is when it's earned. And maybe most importantly, he taught me about love, the quiet, steady, and mature kind. The kind that doesn't ask for anything more than your presence, your attention, your willingness to show up. Monkey's story may have started with a box on a cluttered corridor, but it grew into something much bigger. A lifelong journey of rescue, care, and connection. And that's why I wanted to share it with you. Because sometimes the most extraordinary stories don't look extraordinary at first. They look like a small meow in the middle of an ordinary morning. But if you stop and you listen, they can change everything. So, this is for Monkey, my little orange tabby who found me and in turn helped me find myself. And to whoever left him at my door, thank you. You may never know it, but you didn't just give Monkey a home, you gave me a calling. Because every rescue, no matter how small, has the power to change a life. And sometimes, 2 lives. If you liked this story, please like, subscribe, comment, or share this video. It may not seem like much to you, but it means the world to me and all other rescued animals whose stories I will continue to share here. I'll be sharing more on Monkey's life as we go along, so subscribe to this channel to hear more about Monkey and how his life shaped up. In Islam, the Sunnah refers to the practices, actions, sayings, and approvals of Prophet Muhammad. Peace be upon him. It complements the Quran, which sets down the principles and shows us how to bring those principles to life. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Whoever is kind to the creatures of Allah, he is kind to himself." So remember to let your compassion reach out to every single living thing you may cross paths with. This reflects how caring for Monkey, even though unexpected, became an act of compassion that improved the lives of everyone around him. Stories like Monkey's remind us that sometimes love finds us in the most unexpected ways, even in a simple cardboard box left at our doorstep. His journey into my life wasn't planned, but it changed everything. Let Monkey's story be a reminder that countless other animals are waiting for someone to open their heart and home to them. Instead of buying, choose adoption. If adopting isn't possible right now, consider supporting your local shelters or animal welfare charities. Every bit of help, whether time, food, or donations, makes a real difference. Together, we can give more animals like Monkey the chance to be safe, loved, and cherished for life.